My name is Laurel Phillips, and I am with Local 2, and I've been a member of AUPE for just over 5 years. The biggest thing would be to slow down and take time for yourself. I think when I was in school, all the way from being a teenager right through doing my master's degree, I would really get hung up on having to be perfect and having to be the best. And anything aside from perfect was a failure to me. And that kind of attitude is so unsustainable that at some point you are going to burn yourself out. And taking time for rest and recovery, that's not a reward for hard work, it's a necessity. Um, I'd also, and this is one I think it applies to me today still too, but I would tell her not to spread herself too thin. You don't have to be everything to everyone. And I'm absolutely guilty of overscheduling and overcommitting myself. And it's so much more valuable to be able to do a few things really well than to do a mediocre job on many things. And I know currently, like, I can be bad for saying yes to fill a need that others might not be stepping up for either, because I feel guilty that something's going unfilled. And I think that's something that many people who identify as women do all too often. We have this fear of letting people down. But at the end of the day, not everything is our responsibility. And I think we have to teach ourselves to be okay at letting go of some things. I think the best thing that women can do is try to lift each other up. I've worked in environments where women are very competitive with each other and almost see other women as more of a threat than men are, and they tend to tear each other down, and that's not good for anyone. We need to be there to support each other, even if it's just in small ways, as speaking up for each other in a meeting. So, for instance, if a woman is being interrupted or undermined, just saying something small, like making sure she gets the credit for her work, or telling the room that so and so wasn't finished speaking, that kind of thing can really go a long way in making sure that women's voices are heard in that kind of environment. And for those who are in positions to make bigger changes like hiring and making structural changes in their workplace, I think we need to be aware of our biases, because women can be biased against other women, and just think about why those things exist. So I know one example that's come up in my life, is the idea that women might be more likely to be late for work or take sick time. And a lot of assumptions can be made about that, but it can also be easily attributed to the fact that women are more likely to take on a greater portion of care duty than men are. So maybe they're the ones dropping kids off or getting them ready for school in a bigger way. And there are ways that we can make this easier on women in the workplace if we're in a position to be able to make that kind of change. So things like offering a flexible work arrangement or the ability to work remotely on an ad hoc basis, I think would strongly benefit women in ways that most men might not experience. Even with full-time jobs, women still spend significantly more time doing unpaid labor than men do. Obviously, this isn't the case in all relationships, but on average, that is definitely true. So things like cooking and cleaning, childcare, caring for elderly relatives. And I hear from so many women that they don't have the time to become more involved in the union because they have these commitments, but their husbands don't seem to have that same problem. There's even one woman that I've spoken with whose husband asked her to scale back on her involvement because he didn't like having to make his own dinners and take care of kids the evenings that she was doing union business. And I think that in a family where both partners are working full time, one of the most important things men can do is start to pull more weight at home. Because I think that is really what it means to be a partner. You're sharing that burden of unpaid labor, rather than women expecting women to fulfill this really outdated gender role. So in terms of childcare, I don't have children yet, and I don't know if I ever will. But I do recognize that universal childcare is absolutely crucial to helping more women enter the labor market. For many women, this is the most significant reason that they're choosing to stay home. And to me, that means it's not actually a choice they're making for themselves. If a woman wants to stay home, that should be a choice, and it shouldn't be based on affordability. And then there's for single women who don't have that option to stay home. It's a completely unsustainable financial burden that they have no option there. I know that the federal Canada Child Benefit was able to lift more than 300,000 children out of poverty. I believe that was over 3 years. And I strongly believe that the benefits of affordable universal childcare could eclipse that. As for seniors care, this is something that I have been really closely following throughout the pandemic. And I've honestly was shocked that it wasn't a major federal election issue. Nursing homes in Canada have some of the worst records for COVID-19 deaths among wealthy nations. I was following journalist and activist Laurel quite closely on this. She put together a spreadsheet tracking COVID-19 related deaths in residential facilities and workplaces, and the results were just shocking. And in recent months, there's been more reporting done on the issue. And it's just clear that the highest deaths rates were in private care homes, both profit and nonprofit. And significantly fewer deaths were occurring in public facilities. And this is just a prime example of a two-tier healthcare system failing to protect Canadians. The fact is, without the profit motive, the public facilities are safer. They offer higher wages, better job security than private facilities. And considering that this elder care work is predominantly done by women, eliminating private care is not only good for seniors, but it's also good for women.